Last week, these two sides played a titanic battle, and it was the Lambton Jaffers who claimed a 2-0 victory over the Edgeworth Eagles. For the last 2 years of the competition, Edgeworth have been dominant at this stage. They have not lost a match in the Northern New South Wales qualification for the FFA Cup. Last year, they got to the round of 16, where they lost to the Western Sydney Wanderers, the Lambton Jaffers. They also got through to the national stage. They were beaten in the round of 32 by Devonport. Today, it'll only be one side that will go through, either Lampton or Edgeworth. Lampton have played Edgeworth twice this season. They've beaten them on both occasions. Chris Turner, will it be third time lucky today for Edgeworth, or will Lampton go through?
Look, I'm not really sure. We had a juicy contest the last time these two met, didn't we? And this is
juicy. I'm loving that. I'm loving it.
It was juicy, actually, but this is a different game. We're on a different surface. It's synthetic. It's been raining heavily, but just on inspection of the pitch, it looks in great condition, which you'd expect to be. The drainage is perfect, so it's like it hasn't been raining at all. This is where genuine close ball control will come in. I fancy Lampton. The reason why is that when they had Wheelhouse released, because Kantarovski did such a good job in that holding role, if they reproduce that today, I think that'll be the difference for them, and I'm picking it at Lampton win.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a tight one, as we know. Edgeworth seem to really lift for the Cup, don't they? Absolutely,
and, you know, they made our region proud in the last season, in fact, the last couple, and yeah, look, I've predicted Lampton, however, you know that they're just going to lift. It's going to be super tight and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Ryan Griffiths, he's starting for Lampton, as is Joel Griffiths, Joe Wheelhouse, Michael Kantarovski for Edgeworth, Daniel McBreen, Moriyasu, what a roster. Kieran Sanders is another one.
We've got some amazing footballers out here. And the thing about this pitch is you can't say indoor soccer or indoor football. It's not like that because we're outside. But that close ball control I was talking about before is really... This is where we're going to see very skillful players come to the fore here and expect to see some great quality passing on a perfect pitch.
Well, we hope you enjoy the coverage. We're going to duck into our little bunker where we're commentating today as it's a little bit wet. And we'll run through the team sheets in just a sec. So we'll see you in a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, match 2 for today, round 6 of the Westfield FFA Cup is an all Northern New South Wales transport and field affair between Lambton Jaffers and Edgeworth Eagles. Today's starting lineup, Lambton Jaffers hosted by James Pasco, number 1, Brad Quanto, number 2, Liam O'Dell, number 4, Nathan Berry, number 5, Rich Marku, number 6, Joe Wheelhouse, number 8, Ben Hay, number 9, Joel Griffiths, number 10, Michael Kantarovski, number 11, Luke Treming.
Hello and welcome to the Lambton Quarry Regional Football Facility. Great to be back here in the bunker as we see the two sides come out onto the field for this round 6 matchup. I'll just run through the starting sides. For the Lambton Jaffers in goals is number 1, Brad Swancott, 2 Liam O'Dell, 4 Nathan Verity, 5 Ridge Marpu, 6 and the captain Joe Wheelhouse, 8 Ben Hay, 9 Joel Griffiths, 10 Michael Kantorowski, 11 Luke Remington, 19 Michael Sessions, and 23 Ryan Griffiths. On the bench for Lambton, 7 Tom Waller, 12 Dane Greentree, 15 Riley McNaughton, and 18 Reece Tippett. And for the Edgeworth Eagles, in goals is 20 Nate Cavalier, the goalkeeper, 5 Aidan Bryce, 15 the captain Josh Evans, 4 Pat Wheeler, 9 Aaron McLaughlin, 3 Dom Bazari, 11 Dylan Holtz, 8 Adam Corley, 2 Daniel McBreen, 9 Brodie Taylor, 10 Kieran Sanders. On their bench is 7 Bren Hamill, 6 Lockie Pasquale, 17 the super sub Kigo Moriyasu, 14 Bailey Garland, and the reserve goalkeeper is Josh Lowe. So both sides in the huddle. They've both gone for the huddle to start this one off this afternoon. Last weekend, as we mentioned, it was Lampton too good, winning 2-0. Luke Remington and Ryan Griffiths with the goals. You expect this one is going to be another tight affair. Edgeworth haven't lost in the local level of the FFA Cup since 2014, in the inaugural year of the Cup when they went down to Magic 2-0. The last 2 seasons they have gone through to the national stage. So Ryan Griffiths and his brother Joel to kick us off. Chris Turner. Well, this should be a good contest. We'll just wait for the kickoff, actually. It's imminent. Glenn Peterkin, our referee. So the 2 brothers going for the more traditional kickoff, it looks to be. They do go forward, and Joel Griffiths quickly goes wide looking for Luke Remington. And we are underway. Chris Turner, what a match this presents us with. A contest that really probably one of the best of the local FFA Cup so far.
Yeah, it certainly does. This game's going to be a great one, Bart. The difference between this game and the last game that we saw these 2 sides playing a week ago is obviously the surface and the conditions. It's been raining heavily, but it hasn't bothered this pitch because the drainage. I think you'd sit it above Lake Macquarie and it'd still be dry. And I tell you what, the players that have got good close ball control will really come into their own today.
Ridge Marpu brings it across to Verity. A few lines on the pitch as well, so could be interesting just for the players to get used to it. The free kick going the way. And already there's a bit of push and shove. Kieran Sanders involved. And Glenn Peterkin is going to have to keep this one under wraps. Michael Sessions and Verity involved there. It's Lampton now. Back on the ball with Remington. Goes back for Wheelhouse. Aaron McLaughlin. Now Pat Wheeler. And Evans. He squares it up for Aidan Bryce. Goes up the line. So I mentioned last season, the Jaffers went through to the nationwide stage of the Cup. They were beaten 1-0 by Devonport. Edgeworth, they went through to the round of 16 where they were beaten by the Western Sydney Wanderers 5-1. Chips forward. Wheeler gets back and slices it towards the sideline and over for a Lampton throw. There's the Jaffers coach, James Pascoe, in his 2nd year at the club. He was very successful in the FFA Cup last season. They beat Bell Swans in round 6 4-2, and then Hamilton Olympic, a huge upset in in round 7, 3-2.
But as we were talking about before, this pitch really suited for today. I'm not sure if maybe other people could help us out here, but I'm not sure where else would actually be playing today. And the actual conditions out here at the moment are perfect. It's overcast. It's not actually raining at the moment, and the actual surface is really good with a little bit of moisture on it. So it's sunk through, and the players that really enjoy, I talked about close ball control before. They're the ones that are going to come to their own today, because they'll be able to play balls to perfection, nothing to blow wind, no bumps, no bobbles. It's absolutely perfect, and the amount of quality footballers we've got out here today just will suggest that we're going to see lots of high quality. And
it's the perfect time of the year for this pitch as well, because in the summer months it does get very hot out there, so probably the perfect weather to be out there on this weekend. As Nathan Verity takes off down the near side of the ground. We mentioned that earlier result, Broadmeadow Magic 4-0 over Valentine. Strong result for Magic. They go through to round 7. Last year they were knocked over by Edgeworth in round 4 of the competition. There's Josh Evans. Goes across to McLaughlin. Threads it through for Brodie Taylor. Trying to run it down in front of Liam Odell. Edgeworth, the first side in northern New South Wales football to make it through past the round of 32, even before the Newcastle Jets when they beat Far North Queensland Heat last year. 3-0. And McLaughlin again with the header. He scored in that game, as did the next man that controlled the ball, Brodie Taylor. And Daniel McBrain, here's Taylor from distance. He blazes that one. That may be over the fence. It is. And down to the road, CT.
Yeah, it's just pulled up short of the road and in the drain, so they'll fish that one out literally. Swan Cotton goals, he was outstanding for his side in the last start, and he's going to be looking to do the same again. He's got his same strip-on Bart, the reverse Lampton. We didn't ask him about that, but I think that's what he's all about. But yeah, he was sensational last start. Excuse me, and he'll be looking for another big performance today, because he'll know how much it means to his group to get them through against the side that wants to go a long way through this competition.
Yeah, well, it was really tight in the first half last week, and it took 2 second-half goals from the Jaffers to break the deadlock, and that's where Damien Zane feels that the Jaffers are the strongest, are at their strongest, I should say, straight after the break. So he'll want an early goal from his side, although we saw Hamilton Olympic just a few weeks ago get an early goal against Lampton, and they were overrun in the second half as Michael Sessions was after that.
Well, it's very interesting, you're talking about when they're at their best. I mean, Edgeworth have come up at this point in the season. They've had 2 really long seasons, and when I say long, they went deep into the competition at the FFA Cup last year, and realistically, the break they get over the Christmas period, and they're still training, some of them feel like they haven't had any time off. So this is something they're really looking forward to, because, to be honest, some of the other stuff might be a bit routine.
As here's the ball played through for Sanders, scored a hat-trick in their last match. Brad Swancott again diving to his right. We said he was brilliant last week.
Oh, and what a strike from Sanders, and great save from Swancott again. We just spoke about him a minute ago, and he's at full stretch to tip that one away.
As this one put back in, Sanders on the spin and just puts it wide. And just CT, I just want to ask you, how much confidence do you get playing in a competition that you've done so well in? I know they lost to Lampton last weekend, but there'd be a renewed sense of confidence playing the Cup for Edgeworth.
Well, there's one thing. They set themselves for the FFA Cup, that's for sure. The next thing is they know they can go deep into the competition. They've done it before, and they kept beating sides that they were supposed to lose against, a couple of the Melbourne sides, Victorian sides. And look, I think they take a lot of confidence that this is the game they want to win, because Lampton are obviously the big threat.
Well, everyone remembers from the Northern New South Wales region the 2015 match where Edgeworth went so close to taking Melbourne City to extra time. Aaron Moy scoring a free kick right at the death to claim a 2-1 win for City on that occasion. Then last year they beat Far North Queensland Heat, actually Kieran Sanders' side, 3-0, and then the 5-1 defeat to Western Sydney Wanderers. Daniel McBrain, already 3 goals in the competition so far.
Well,
there's Cavalier under pressure, and Ryan Griffiths almost made him pay there. The former Jaffers backup keeper Nate Cavalier, now at Edgeworth.
we know that Edgeworth have carried the baton for Northern football so well in this competition and represented us so beautifully throughout the competition over the last couple of years. And I know Lampton would dearly love to have that baton, and they're looking to take it today. So, look, I'd be confident either of these two sides really making an impact on the biggest stage when they get the opportunity.
Aidan Bryce with the nod on towards Sanders. He scored the winner about 100 metres away from here back in round 11 against Lake Macquarie at Macquarie Field, not too far from the regional football facility, just over the hill there. It's a throw towards Brodie Taylor. And Edgeworth with another one. Another throw for Aidan Bryce down in the corner. Right against the fence. Throw probably didn't get the depth he wanted, Aidan Bryce, and Lampton be back on the ball. Just over 9 minutes gone in this round 6 match in the FFA Cup. Their record, the Lambton Jaffers in the FFA Cup, 13 matches played. They've won 10 and lost 3. For Edgeworth, they've played 16, won 13 and lost the 3. Interestingly, Edgeworth are the only side out of these two to have played in a shootout. It was against Broadmeadow Magic last year in round 4, and they took down Magic. Lampton yet to play a penalty shootout in the FFA Cup. Back to Brad Swancott. You expect today we could get to that stage based on the quality of both of these two sides. Adam Corley with the off his backside towards McBrain in this pass. This is how quickly the ball runs, doesn't it, CT? Across the turf, Aidan Bryce had to get on his bike and goes to Evans.
Look, it does, and that's the difference between this. The drainage is so good, it's actually dry out there on the surface at the moment, and it is running very quickly, so, about a 3 on the centimetre, but...
Ridge Marpu.
I have no idea what that means, by the way.
I don't know what it means either. That's what I was trying to work out. There's Kieran Sanders chipping it over the top, looking for Brodie Taylor.
It's going back to that opportunity that Sanders had, and I think the ball was released by McBreen. He got himself into beautiful position and really created a great opportunity. Lampton don't want that too often from him because he put the ball on target. It took a sensational save from Swancott to pull that one or just tip it out of harm's way. But he looks a very, very dangerous footballer, and Lampton definitely need to keep him very tight. You can see Kandarovski sitting in the middle of the back line there. That one gets hoofed out of the park by Swancott. And that's kind of a little bit different to the way they set up last week. Last week he was sitting in the middle of the park and Joe Wheelhouse was able to release out. So it looks like Joe's been playing a more holding sort of role at this point in the game. But
well, CT, I was actually, when thinking about this game a couple of days ago, as Aaron McLaughlin tries to cut in, I was thinking along the lines of, here's McBrain just chipping it wide. McLaughlin whips it towards the back post, but a little overhit for a Lampton throw. I was thinking about it along the lines of a champion team in Edgeworth taking on a team of champions, but I think that's unfair to Lampton because I don't think they're a team of individuals. I think they are just as much a core side as Edgeworth are. I know Edgeworth have been together a lot longer, but Lampton have shown this season that they were a brilliant side. What are your thoughts on that, CT?
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? If you're James Pascoe and you're talking like that, he probably wouldn't be that excited because they work very hard at creating systems, patterns of play. They look at combinations. They look at little pockets, how to get out and open the game up. They're not, a team of individuals. These guys work very hard as a group, and you can see that by the way their football's executed. Look, I really like them. I think, I've tipped them at the beginning of the game, having said it'll be a close one, but I think they'll nudge themselves in front. But just the way that McBreen got Saunders through there so easily earlier on, but it's a very close one to call.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking when I was thinking about that. Was this Lampton side is a brilliant team together. You know, you've got Joel Griffiths, Wheelhouse, Kantorowski, and Ryan Griffiths proving last week just how well they can all work together. As here's Nathan Verity stepping on the ball, and Bazzari brings it away.
Verity did everything right except what mattered, and that was to get that final pass away. And he was in really good, dangerous position.
He was great last weekend, wasn't he, Nathan Verity, for Lambton Jaffers?
He's been doing really well, in fact, and he's a great person to have in that position.
There's Brodie Taylor. Just leaves it off for Daniel McBrain, and now Kieran Sanders bursts downfield. This pitch really suiting him early on. He threads it wide. Brodie Taylor. Michael Sessions is there. Here's Aiden Bryce! And Brad Swancott again gets a hand to it, I believe, as it was searing towards the bottom right corner.
Look, it looked like he got a hand to that, because for me, I was just outside our little bunker here, Bart, and it looked for me all money going in, and what a save.
And it's been all Edgeworth the opening 14 minutes, hasn't it? That is brilliant from Swancott.
Yeah, that was in, and that was goalward bound. So here he goes again, Swanee.
As here is Swan again, just tapping it over towards the sideline. Is this back to his old NSL days, CT?
Look, he's in prime form. I mean, I've coached Swanee at Lake Macquarie, and his field just over the little bump there, and he was sensational all year. He had a big year, but I can't say that he's having a worse year this year, because every time I see him, he's perfect.
There's Brodie Taylor inside the near post.
Saw his dad as we were walking in, Bart, and he said hello. He'd have a chat, and he had a big smile on his face, because he knows he enjoys watching his son playing well into his 30s and possibly 40s now.
Well, I'm going to say this, CT. I thought Brad Swan started the season a little slowly for his standards. He had a red card against Valentine in round 4. Then Daniel March, the backup keeper, came into the side, played the 2 matches after Swancott was sent off, and kept a clean sheet against Lakes. And Swancott seemed to me to effectively say, right, really got to step up here, and he has not looked back the week since then, has he?
Well, you know what? We joked about it, and I actually said to him, you're probably not going to get your spot back, because March, remember, he was either player's player or certainly our man of the match. He did really well. He might have got the Harry Snitty player of the day that day, one of the awards. But you're right, Swanee's not going to. He's never ever a second string keeper. He's not that guy. He's a guy out in front. So if he had to pick up a gear, he would do it.
Sanders just had his pocket picked there by Ridge Marpu. Aaron McLaughlin now to McBrain. But you only get so many chances in a match, CT. That's what I said last week to Damien Zane at the end of a match, as Swancott made about 3 or 4 brilliant saves last week. And I said to him, you only get so many chances. And Brad Swancott stopped all of yours last week. And the same thing has happened in the opening 16 here.
Well, so I've often said to footballers, you know, you were talking about opportunities, moments in games. You talk about to players, there is going to be a moment or an opportunity in the game where you have the opportunity to make the difference, i.e. score. So at that point, make good choices. On the reverse side of things, for a goalkeeper, Brad Swancott's doing the same thing. People are putting things on target, just like we saw that strike on target then, and he's just made his save absolutely millimetre perfect.
And Brad Swancott actually is up against his deputy of last year. Of course, Nate Cavalier was Brad Swancott's backup last season. So stepping up big time this afternoon, as he did last weekend as well, Brad Swancott. 2 brilliant saves. But CT, why have Edgeworth had the ascendancy in the opening 17 minutes? Are you just able to put your finger on that?
Look, it's really difficult. They've just got better field territory and position.
It's McBrain just sliding past the back post. Swancott, well, I probably had him beaten had it gone in towards the top corner, but just fades wide.
So, but Edgeworth have got better field position, and by that I mean they're established in Lambton's territory at the moment. And when you're there, you're going to be creating some opportunities if you're mostly down that end of the park. What Lampton have got to do is shift proportionally up through the field and try and get themselves down in Edgeworth's territory and get more time. At the moment, they're on the back foot, Lampton, and they're on their heels. An opportunity like this is a good one, because we can shift through, and the back line at the moment is saying, phew, here we go. Kantarovski's up. Let's get out, boys, and let's get ourselves forward and establish ourselves up the other end of the park. I know it sounds fairly basic, but that's about how it sums up.
Wheelhouse now back for Kantarovski. James Pascoe keeping him in the back line. Nathan Morris out of the side with that injury. Be out for a few weeks. Pat Brown as well, also injured late on in the match against Edgeworth. He dislocated his elbow as Nathan Verity comes wide. Back for Wheelhouse. Former Jets skipper. Former Jets player in Kantarovski. He only played 5 minutes. And it was a victory that day for the Newcastle Jets. Michael Kantarovski played in 2015.
I've got a special guest here. We've got Brad Swancott's father here. We've just been talking about Swanee, and welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
We were just talking about Brad's had, he got sent off earlier in the year for calling someone, I think it was a twat or something. Was it a twat?
Sure the word.
Anyway, whatever it was, he called someone something. He got sent off. What it is, I don't actually know what it means, so I hope I didn't offend anyone. And his replacement keeper in March, he came on, did a fantastic job, and I think he either got players' play or something like that. Brad's playing as well as I've ever seen him. How do you rate his performance this year versus his whole life?
Well, I think he's playing, probably at the moment, he's playing as good as he has played, certainly for the last 10 years. And as you would have known, Chris, when he came back from Sydney and played with you at the Roosters, he was in good form. But I think certainly the last 2 years, and this year in particular, he's been really on top of his game.
What is it? Why is he... How old is he now? 40 what?
He's 38 this year in July.
Okay, so when you're 38, why is he playing the best football or as good as he's played?
Well, it all depends. I think it's the environment he's playing in, the team he's with, and the coaching staff and that. And he's enjoying his football still, and that makes it easy for him to perform.
Oh, look, it's a pleasure to watch him. He had this steely look in his eye last week before kickoff when we had a quick chat, and I mentioned to the boys he looked like he's got his game face on. He's probably like that each week, because I don't normally see him before kickoff. But it's wonderful to see him doing so well. He's a great ambassador for our local game, and he's a great keeper for young keepers to look up to. And it must be a pleasure to have him playing still at this age, mate.
Yeah, it is, mate. And I'm proud of everything he's done, and he's always represented himself and his family in the right frame. And he certainly is a great encouragement for the players that he plays around as well, mate.
Well, thanks for joining us in that impromptu. Cheers, Swanee. Appreciate it. That was a bit of a bonus, but...
Great insight there, CT. And great to hear from Brad's father there. And he has been the best player on the park in the opening 21 minutes with those two crucial saves. It could be 2-0 to Edgeworth. Lampton have barely fired a shot in anger as here's Nathan Verity. On to Ben Hay. Hay about faces and plays it to Wheelhouse. Kantarovski. Bringing it wide again for Verity, who sends Griffiths down the left flank, cuts it into the middle, and was Pat Wheeler just there in the nick of time.
We mentioned Verity before, and that's the sort of football you want from him. Just slide people like Griffiths into the spot to execute a great cross that he did, and that's what's going to cause some dramas for Edgeworth in as the game progresses. But
we're just nearing the halfway point of the opening half here at the Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. Round 6 of the FFA Cup. The winner of this one through to round 7 with Broadmeadow Magic, the first side through earlier this morning as Wheelhouse. It was in the corner. It was low. It's back for Remington towards the back post, and Dylan Holtz with the header. Mapu has an air swing. May give Brodie Taylor a chance, but that's the speed of Ridge Mapu. But Taylor gets his boot in. And Sanders goes to Taylor. Chance potentially here for Edgeworth. Adam Corley in the middle for Sanders, but plenty of yellow shirts behind the ball. And Sanders gives away the free kick. Involved in a bit of a scuffle in the opening 2 minutes with Michael Sessions. There was a bit said before the match as well, I think, between Kieran Sanders and a few of the Lampton players, CT.
Well, I don't know about you, Bart, but I wouldn't want to get in the middle of either of those two. I believe Sanders may do a bit of I think it might be a bit of cage fighting, or I'm not sure. Maybe someone can help us out there. But I know he's involved with some contact sport. And also, I know Sesho can hold his hands up as well, so I don't want to get anywhere near that. I'd rather sip on a cup of coffee and stay a good distance, mate.
Well, I don't know, as we see, he's going to trickle over the line for an Edgeworth goal kick. But at the back end of last match, I know you and Smudge didn't see it, but Kieran Sanders came in hard on Pat Brown, and I have a feeling a few of the Lampton players were not impressed with that late on in the match. And Kieran Sanders, from the fall, dislocated his elbow. So,
yeah, we were in the sheds immediately after the game, Bart, and there was a feeling of, they were happy that they won, but they were not excited by that challenge. That's for sure.
Yeah, and we saw that 2 minutes in, but it seemed to have simmered since then. Sanders deflected off Kantorowski into Griffiths and Verity now. In towards Griffiths, but Daniel McBrain, another ex-A-League star. 28 goals for Daniel McBrain in his time in the A-League.
That's another wonderful tackle from Kantorowski. That's 2 tackles that he's made of critical importance because of the location. If he loses it there, Edgeworth are away. The speed of the play here is something that should be noted because the ball's moving quickly, so everything else has to as well, and you don't get a lot of time.
Here's Ben Hay. It's it wide for Verity. He curls it in, and Remington and Griffiths were both there again as they were last weekend, but on this occasion, Griffiths couldn't put it back across to his mate, and Liam Odell squares it for Wheelhouse.
Just a point on the speed of the play, but and the running the ball, it's that way, and maybe that air swing from Mapu is reflective of that. Just caught him out and didn't, just sort of happened all a bit too quick for him. But the pace and the skill of these players has just been outstanding.
And it would have been a lot slower pitches. Lampton win the free kick. A tackle on Mapu, deemed to be illegal from Glenn Peterkin. But last weekend the pitch would have been a lot slower at Jack McLaughlin Oval compared to this.
And it forces you to play a different way, because what happens is you set your mind in that you can really hold a lot more possession. You can see today there's a lot more turnover because the ball's moving quicker and you don't get enough time on the ball, or as much time as you would say on the grass surface that was heavier last week.
Here's Wheelhouse looking for Joel Griffiths, and Cavalier came and missed, and Joel Griffiths somehow has put that one outside the back post. Well, that was inches away, and that was Lampton's chance. That was their moment after Edgeworth. Wow, you expect Joel Griffiths to finish that, wouldn't you, CT?
You would, and you back him to do it every time. He'll be feeling that's a missed opportunity for them to go one up.
Especially after Edgeworth had those 2 wonderful chances early on. If you've just joined us, Brad Swancott with 2 world-class saves to deny Aidan Bryce and Kieran Sanders. As Bazari and Verity come together, and the free kick goes the way of the Jaffers.
He's going to love you saying world-class there, but...
Well, they were, to be honest. Especially the second one. That's the hardest area for a goalkeeper to save. Download to your left, CT. I know you're not a goalkeeper, but it is the hardest place to save, down low, isn't it?
Well, that's what they say, and close to your body, low and hard.
And that's where it was from Aidan Bryce. It was outstanding. There's this one cut back in, and I think it may have crossed the byline. It has, so it'll be a Lampton corner down the far end of the Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility, just down near the 5-a-side fields. Seven goals for the Jets, 106 matches in the A-League. It's for Joe Wheelhouse. He goes a little heavy off his right boot. He'll trickle over the sideline.
Obviously, the pitch size is within regulation, but it does to the eye look like a smaller ground It's probably not, but it certainly looks a bit smaller and things look a little bit tighter. Don't know if we can get any information on what the actual pitch size is in relation to Edgeworth's ground, for example.
Yeah, I would say, CT, if it is a little smaller, it's probably not too much as Brodie Taylor, I'll come back to that, and see chips it in towards Sanders. It was just a little too high, and Aidan Bryce will go after this one. Sometimes it's a bit of an optical illusion when you have a fence around the ground so close. You think it's a little smaller than what it actually is.
Yeah, that's true, and also the fact that the ball is running so quickly
from one end to the other.
From one to the other.
Just over 28 gone. Ridgemark with the throw. I'll just let you go with that one. Unfortunately, Smudge is not here for him to shake his head. He will be here at 2 o'clock, though, because we will be here to call the Cardiff City Coff City game.
Looking
you're excited
that.
about that one, aren't you, CT?
I am, actually, because it's good. This is what the FFA Cup's all about. You know, you get a side like Cardiff, they've knocked over Lake Macquarie, and they've got themselves to this round, and they're playing against North Coast side in Coffs Harbour. And we don't really know much about them. We saw a little bit of video footage on Facebook. I've got that one through yesterday, so it's good to see them, but really hard to tell.
Well, I'll tell you, it's the penalty shootout Kings up against the Giant Killers. I'll just check that for you. So, in the Westfield FFA Cup, 5 penalty shootouts across their time in the Cup Coff City have had. They've had 5 shootouts. They've won 4 of those.
Wow, they must practice.
They must.
What I can say is that Cardiff's coach, Rob Askew, he was telling me he went to watch them play last weekend.
He went up.
He drove from Newcastle to Coffs Harbour.
That is dedication, isn't it?
And watched the game before also, and then after the game, drove home. No fatigue issues because he said he was well rested, checked on all of that. Hydration was good.
Well, CT, doesn't that just show you what a great initiative the Westfield FFA Cup is? For someone to go and do that, like, that is just incredible.
Have to admit, I thought he was taking the mick a little bit but he was serious. He told, and then last night he sent through their formation, their players, their strengths, where they're dangerous, etc. And this is you're right, Bar. This is how much it means. If Cardiff win today, they'll go absolutely crazy, as you would expect Coffs Harbour to do the same.
And no side from the north has made it through since 2014, so that shapes as an intriguing battle later today. But today, the results today are ready. Valentine went down 4-0 to Broadmeadow Magic. It was 1-0 at the break, and then the back end of the match, Broadmeadow Magic piled on the goals. Peter Haynes, Sam Webb, James Virgili, and Shane Paul, the goal scorers for Magic in that pretty comfortable win it looked in the end, but it was far from comfortable. Valentine had chances to make it 1-1. And in this one, Edgeworth with 2 golden chances early. And then Joel Griffiths with a gilt-edged chance that he put wide. Played with the Newcastle Breakers in the NSL with Brad Swancott. He was very much he was very much a backup through that period to Bob Catlin, veteran goalkeeper, during his time at the Breakers with Swancott.
I think mainly that was because he used to sport this incredibly weird mullet. I don't know if you've seen photographs of him back.
Brad Swancott.
Oh, he had a mullet that. Wow. Anyway, we'll leave that one there.
You'll have to dig those up for me, CT. I think that was before I was born.
Probably was. It was before 2011.
Very funny. So we're just entering this period of the match where you need Damien Smith to tell a bad story, don't you? As Joe Wheelhouse brings it across to Verity. It's just a little bit flat. There's Pat Wheeler on the ball for Edgeworth now.
Well, no doubt Smudge, when he gets here, he'll make up for it, Bart.
I'm sure he will, as Dylan Holtz. So there's a crunching tackle from Kantarowski, and Sanders just chips that one. Well, he probably had it over Swancott, but just wide. Another good chance for Edgeworth. Here it is. So here's this connection between Holtz and Kantorowski. Sits up for Sanders.
Holtz
wide.
He went down like he got one in the batteries, but I'm not sure whether it didn't look like that on the replay.
Could you hear him talking, could you? From
no,
here?
just the awkward hip movement. So I hope he's okay.
Josh Evans. Now for McLaughlin. That's one of your best, CT, the awkward hip movement. Dr. Chris Turner. Don't worry about Dr. Chris Brown. There's Adam Corley. He's going over the sideline for a Lampton throw. First place in the National Premier League's Northern New South Wales, the Lambton Jaffers. They weren't in first place before last weekend. Before they knocked over Edgeworth, they leapfrogged them and Edgeworth dropped back to third. But still very, very tight. Lampton on 26 points, Edgeworth 24, so plenty of water to pass under the bridge in the NPL Northern New South Wales. Valentine, of course, in second on 25, playing a weakened side against Broadmeadow Magic this morning to focus on the FFA Cup next weekend. We'll be live next Saturday from 2:30 p.m. for the match between Magic and Valentine again. Round two as Kantorowski chips forward. And Verity get on the end. I think it is a little too heavy and is.
That's the pace of the park we were talking about before, and Kantorowski's just overhit that one a little bit, and that's probably on a normal pitch. That's going to be a good ball, but just the way it bounced off so quickly, Verity's got no chance of pulling that one down.
So Nat Cavalier, 6 clean sheets thus far in the NPL.
Cavalier hasn't had a whole heap to do today, but where he's been required, he's been there. So interesting to see how much he gets tested as the game goes.
McLaughlin in towards Holtz, and his header just inside the near post there. Just outside, I should say, the near post.
Well, Holtz did the right thing there. He had Swancott going to Swancott's left, and he went across the face of goal. Well, imagine on target. He's really.
Imagine if Sanders can get a boot to that back into the far corner. Swancott was in a little bit of strife, but wasn't to be for Edgeworth. Into the final 10 before the break now. And it just has got a little darker at the Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility because I think the rain is about to come again. It's been a very wet week in the Hunter region and Lake Macquarie as well. There's Verity. Goes central for Ryan Griffiths with the bright green boots. And now Remington across the face. Edgeworth diffuse the situation pretty well. But Lampton are going to keep coming at them here.
The combination between Verity, Griffiths and Remington was just superb there. Great ball in by Remo. He's played a ball that was very, very dangerous. That's the sort of thing they need to continue to do. Get the ball played into the box and get some numbers in there.
Aiden Bryce takes off and then chips forward for Taylor. But Kantorowski is able to, well, I thought he was able to weave his way out of it. He is in the end. And now Verity off Holtz for a Jaffers throw. CT, have you got a special guest?
Yeah, we just keep reeling them in, don't we? Now Peter Haynes has just joined us. How are you, Hainesy?
I'm well, how are you?
Good, mate. We've just been talking. You might be able to help us out because you work for the Federation, and we're just talking about the pitch before. We've had a truckload of rain. I feel like you'd pour Lake Macquarie over the top of it, and it'd still be dry. It's held up beautifully, yeah?
Yeah, it is. I mean, this is exactly what the place is designed for, to be honest, to make sure that we we don't miss out on football matches, and it's a good example of what it's for, and I'm glad people are enjoying it today.
Yeah, well, there's a good crowd in attendance here as well. One of the things, and you'll help us out here too, just make sure...
Michael Sessions goes wide for Ryan Griffiths, who chips it in towards his brother Joel, and Cavalier claims.
So specifically about the pitch, we noticed the speed of play. The ball runs... Look, we're calling it a 2 on the stenometer. It's very, very fast. So the players have got to adjust themselves as well. So you as a footballer, and you play on this pitch a bit, what do you notice? What's the big difference between this and grass?
You're exactly right. The ball speed is lightning. On a day like today where it's an hour game where we had a bit of
Sanders across the face. Taylor almost with a boot to it. And Daniel McBrain keeps it inside the line. He whips it in. Taylor again there as it sits up for Holtz. It doesn't. CT, the rule is normally that as soon as we get special guests in, the chances just fly in everywhere.
They do, don't they? And we just went through a dry patch, so to speak, a little while ago. Sorry, Hainsey.
No, that's right. I was just saying we got a bit of rain at the start of our game, and the ball was absolutely lightning. It was zipping around. It was so different. It was a little bit difficult for us to get a grip, but it's probably perfect now for Lampton and Edgy. It's damp, but it's not there's not too much surface water, so the speed, it'll be quick, but it won't be too far off what a good grass pitch would be. So it's pretty much perfect right now.
Well, talking about before the game and also earlier,
Ridge Marpu has to take on the Edgeworth defence, but Evans is up to the task.
just talking about the high-quality, close ball control footballers. You know what I'm talking about here, the guys that genuinely have a lot of skill and ability with football at the feet, enjoy a pitch like this.
Absolutely, and that was a problem for our game. You know, the last 10 minutes we started to go a bit longer, and as soon as you do that, the ball just skips on and gets away from you. The boys who like the ball at their feet, they like to dribble and keep it nice and close. They'll absolutely eat this up, man. And Lampton and Edgy, you couldn't get two better footballing teams to be on the pitch, to be honest.
Yeah, because you go through the park. I mean, I won't go through the names, but you just look from top to bottom. There's just high-quality players everywhere, and this is the sort of thing that makes it fun to watch because, say we were at Edgeworth last week, and the ground, to be honest, it was probably a 5 or a 6 out of 10, even after they'd done a heap of work to get it playable. Did a great job, but then you come onto this. It's raining. I'm not sure if any other games would be on today.
Well, I know with the... I know at the moment they're struggling up in Coffs Harbour to get the state championships for the juniors played. It's an absolute swimming pool up there at the moment. But this is what you want. You want people to come out and see two good footballing teams, play good football, and it's exactly what we're getting. You look at the names out there on the pitch, and not every state federation gets these kind of players in their NPL. Sydney and Melbourne would be absolutely dying to get someone like Ryan Griffiths, Joel Griffiths, Daniel McBreen, Joe Wheelhouse. So I hope that people kind of appreciate what they're able to watch at the moment.
Yeah, and just nearby us is Sanders, who's having a cracking season as well. They're just flooded, and that's without going through all of the Edgeworth side individually. And Lambton. So, look, thanks for coming over to chat to us, Hainsey. I really appreciate that. And, well done today. We'll talk to you soon, mate.
Anytime. Enjoy the coverage. Thanks, guys. Good job.
Thanks, Pete.
And Pete was just talking about up at Coffs Harbour, the state championships. If you want to see a flooded pitch, as Taylor goes wide for McBrain, and with McBrain just so close again from the veteran striker McBrain, just inside.
See if we can have a look at that. Let's have a look at McBrain on the ball here. He takes one look, picks his mark, and that
bullet was just outside the near post of Brad Swancott. But if you go into Northern New South Wales's Twitter account, you'll be able to see the photo up at Coffs Harbour. It is incredible. I don't think I've seen a pitch like it. So head on to Northern New South Wales's Twitter and you'll be able to see what it's like up at Coffs Harbour. I'll just show you, CT, what it's like. There you go. Snorkels required up there as McBrain lays it off for Aidan Bryce.
Yeah, well, that's
now McBrain on the turn, and Corley almost on the ball, but Wheelhouse was in front of him. And Jaffers with a chance to break as Wheelhouse threads it wide for Ryan Griffiths. Still Griffiths. And his shot is straight at Cavalier. So the chances flowing towards the back end of this first half now.
Wheelhouse is down, which is tragic news if he's got a major problem for Lambton.
Well, yeah, I didn't even see that. Was it a late clip after? I'll have a look. He's in all sorts, Joe Wheelhouse, and it's a calf, and I have a feeling he has hurt his calf before. Looks to be maybe even an Achilles. Just have a look. Aidan Bryce. Maybe just even rolled ankle here. Here it is, that right ankle. It's collapsing under his body. And he's in all sorts, Joe Wheelhouse. He won't be able to continue based on the pitches you're saying here. Maybe even up. Yeah, it's just terrible to see. Former Jets skipper, I should say. And the captain this season at the Jaffers. John Majerowski, the skipper last season, so his first year. Joe Wheelhouse is the Lampton skipper in the midfield. Scored in that famous victory now against Hamilton Olympic in round 7. And it's a sorry sight for Jaffers fans and Joe Wheelhouse. And you just hope it's not his season, but it looks terrible. So we'll just have a look at the Jaffers bench. They've got Dane Greentree, former Jets youth graduate, and Reece Tippett, Riley McNaughton, Tom Waller on the bench as well. We'll see who it will be for the Jaffers, who they bring on. And it will be Riley McNaughton. It's a mainstay of the Jaffers lineup in their championship winning year in 2014, but struggled with injury last season, and he's been predominantly coming off the bench this season. He does so again in this one. And Chris Turner was just saying, as he ducked out for a second, Joe Wheelhouse, that could potentially be his season based on that.
Well, it's really bad news. He has been absolutely sensational for Lampton, not just this year, but since he's been at the club. And hopefully for him, it's going to be better than what it looks at the moment. But big blow, and I did mention Bart before the start of the game how pivotal he will be in this match and how often he's on the ball. So, yeah, it's not good news for Lambton. And
just your thoughts on the bump from Aidan Bryce? I didn't think there was much in it.
Yeah, look, I only had a quick glance at that one. I didn't see much of it at all, to be honest. So can't really comment. I just had to take away for a minute. But
sitting on the fence.
Well, yeah. I mean, if we get to have another look,
it just looked to be he may have rolled under his body there, Wheelhouse, after Aidan Bryce just gave him a little nudge in the middle of the park. It's 2 injuries now for the Jaffers in 2 weeks after Pat Brown last week. Or sorry, I should say 3 injuries. Pat Brown, Nathan Morris, and now Joe Wheelhouse. So we tick into stoppage time in the first half. And that Joe Wheelhouse injury just may have ensured that we get 2 or 3 minutes. And Ridge Marpu unable to keep it in.
Yeah, we'll see if we can find out at half-time, but exactly what the issue is, and get some sort of confirmation. But unfortunately, just doesn't look good.
So Brad Swancott taking a little bit of time off the clock. Kantarowski across to Liam O'Dell from the Central Coast, and Glenn Peterkin says that will do us in the opening half in round 6 of the Westfield FFA Cup in Game 2 here at the Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. Edgeworth shot out of the blocks early. 2 great saves. Well, great's an understatement. They were brilliant from Brad Swancott, Aidan Bryce, and Kieran Sanders with 2 wonderful strikes. And Brad Swancott was up to the task. Joel Griffiths had a good chance to the Jaffers, and both sides challenged in the final 10 minutes of the break, before the break, but neither could put one in the back of the net. So they head in at half-time here at the Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. It's Lampton Jaffers 0, Edgeworth Eagles 0. Chris Turner, your thoughts on the opening 45?
Look, it was, for me, simply a case of 2 great saves from Swancott and field position. The team on this pitch playing good tight areas with close ball control. You get forward in the park and play down the other end. That's what Edgeworth did early in the game. Then Lampton were able to open up a little bit and get more dominance in up at their attacking end, and that's the way the game's kind of panned out. Nothing much in it at the moment, and expecting a very tight one. Wheelhouse out of the game is going to have an impact on Lambton, but we're going to see what Pascoe does here and how he sets up for the second half. But
all right, CT, we'll have a quick break and we will be back in 10 minutes. It's locked up here, Edgeworth and Lampton at 0-0. So welcome back. Second half just about to get underway here at the Regional Football Facility. Brodie Taylor and Kieran Sanders to get us underway. And Glenn Peterkin sends us on our way in the second 45 minutes in round 6 of the Westfield FFA Cup. So it was an opening half that was tight and tense. Edgeworth probably starting the stronger, and then Lampton fighting back strong at the back end of the second half. So Chris Turner, do you think we're going to see extra time and penalties this afternoon?
Well, it's a possibility. There's no doubt about that. The first half was really, really tight. But I've got to tell you, Lampton will be absolutely seething with the loss of Job Wheelhouse, because we spoke about him before the start of the game and how his influence and his ability to release into the game is going to be really critical to the outcome of the game. So, yeah, just watching how the game unfolds and what Pascoe is doing to counter his loss is going to be very interesting.
Here's McLaughlin threading it through for Taylor. Just offside. So Lampton with the free kick. So how do you feel they'll respond after that injury to Job Wheelhouse?
Well, when you've got someone so pivotal in your team, I mean, look, no disrespect to strikers, but you take one of those guys out, it's less of an impact, in my opinion only, than, say, a central midfielder that generals the game. When I say that, on the ball a lot, he's dictating where the ball goes, the pace of the play. He's dictating how quickly the player's moving in and out. He often decides whether he's going to play it long, short. So he has an influence on the game that is probably critical to Lampton, and that's why we spoke about his ability to release into the game before. I thought he was playing as he does every week, and outstanding. So look, yeah, it's going to be very difficult for Lampton. But you know what? Sometimes teams lift, and they think, right now we need to do a bit extra. Maybe that extra 5% is required from me because one of our main men are out. Let's not forget who else they've got inside, though. They've got stars top to bottom. So it's not all about Job, but, for me, he's a big loss.
Ridge Marpu swerves in between a couple. That's the speed of Ridge Marpu, and he's low to the ground as well. Got great balance. Adam Corley. He's infield for McBrain. Chips it forward, and Kantarovski's head up. Probably looking for Odell there, but it trickles over the sideline.
And just back on Wheelhouse for a moment, I've got the opportunity to speak to Chris Nedden very, very briefly at half-time, and he didn't look impressed, to say the least, but apart from that, he said that he had some ankle ligament damage on the outside of his foot, which I'm not sure if Damien Smith were here, he'd be sort of give us a rough indication what that looks like in terms of time, but you have to be thinking he's going to be missing for at least a few weeks.
They turn it over Lampton and then win it back almost as quickly as Odell to Griffiths off the outside of the boot for Don Bazari. Now Josh Evans straight across the back line to Aidan Bryce. Riley McNaughton, so he's come on at half-time for Job Wheelhouse, who was carried from the park at half-time. And just seemed to... The match has just been a little bit flat since Job Wheelhouse's injury. Players just trying to take stock again. It is always hard when the fire is in the belly and then you have a bad injury like that. It sort of just takes the steam out of the match. It's Daniel McBrain.
Well, it can do, but it can also fire it up. I think we're just going through a natural flat little period in the game. I'm sure it'll spike up because sooner or later it'll come back in. The guys realise, well, hang on, there's before long it's 20 minutes to go and we've still got to win this game to be continuing the competition.
Nathan Verity back for McNaughton. Kantarovski goes long and it'll trickle over the byline. Brodie Taylor squares it up for Corley. Liam Odell with the boot in. It's only as far as McLaughlin. He scored on the national stage last year. Brodie Taylor tries to weave in between a couple. Three of the players that scored on the national stage last year for Edgeworth are all on the pitch. McBreen 2. We saw McLaughlin 1 and Brodie Taylor 1. Bren Hamill, who scored the penalty the year before, he'll come from the bench this afternoon as Odell goes back to Swancott. Griffiths with the touch for Mapu. And this was the period, CT. This was the period where Lampton really turned it on last weekend against Edgeworth. 2 goals in quick succession straight after the break.
But we've just had the Stars reeling in today, one after the other. And yeah, Smudge is here. Welcome, Smudge.
Aiden Bryce looks for McBreen. He controls. Heads it down. McNaughton is able to go with the outside of the boot and clear the danger as Holtz gets cleaned up. Crowd getting involved now. As Joel Griffiths, we may have to go back to CT in just a sec as he looks for his brother Ryan.
There's a quality ball through too. He's tried to pick his brother out and has done so, but just overhit, and that's the speed of the pitch again, Bart.
And Lampton with the free kick. So the crowd really getting into it now, CT. We'll go to your special guest.
Yeah, as I said, Bart, the Stars are flowing, and if you're a golf fan, you're just excited as I am right now because I've got standing here with Nathan Green. Greenie, I know your brother Darren pretty well. You not so much. You may remember my golf game I had with you a few years ago. I was about 5. He's looking at me blankly like you don't know me. That's all right. Mate, you've been following... We know you've been involved in Toronto. Still love the local soccer?
Yeah, still I enjoy watching. I think it's especially 2 teams like this. Got some great quality players out there, and they put on a pretty good performance so far today. But said with guys like the Griffiths boys and Daniel McBreen and that, it's I know it's a good quality game to watch.
You've played on the biggest stage in world golf, and memorable playoff for Tiger Woods. Is that correct?
Yeah, back in 06 in my first year I had a playoff, and then I won in 09, which seems like a lifetime ago for me. I'm not playing that much anymore, but yeah, sort of enjoying my soccer now that I'm sort of semi-retired.
Here's the shot from Holtz. He finds the top corner, Dylan Holtz, and Edgeworth with the lead straight after half-time, almost in the same minute that Lampton took the lead last weekend against them. And it was a bullet from Holtz from just inside the 18-yard box, and Brad Swancott couldn't keep that one out. And the Eagles have the lead they really wanted badly. Here it was Kieran Sanders back for Holtz onto his left boot and smashes it into the back of the net. And Edgeworth with a 1-0 lead. Brilliant Kieran Sanders, and even better from Dylan Holtz.
Oh, what a strike from Holtz. He's just picked his mark there, giving Swancott absolutely no chance. He's been fantastic all game, but he had no chance on that. And here they come again, but...
There's Aiden Bryce on the inside for Sanders. Back for McBreen, as we mentioned, the special guest coming to the box, and the chances flow. Here's Bazari. And Remington with a header away.
Isn't that the way, Bart? We have our special guest, and then all of a sudden the game picks up.
There's Holtz, the header away from Kantarowski and McLaughlin. Now, if I can remember correctly, Nathan, you got a hole in one at Augusta, is that right?
Yeah, I've got to play it in 2010. I won the Canadian Open in 2009, which got me a start there, and I had a hole in one in the last round. I think I was coming last of the people who made the cut at the time, so it didn't really move me up at all, but it was a great experience. It was something I never thought I'd get to achieve, and it was no prize money. Not many people and that sort of stuff, but it was a great experience. Unfortunately, my career didn't really last that much longer after that, but it was I was able to do a fair bit in golf, but being able to come back now and sort of play a bit of soccer and watch my kids grow up, it's been good.
Well, not many people can say they've got a hole in one at Augusta, so that's a feather to your cap.
I tell you, Greenie, I've been like an absolute golf addict, watching and just probably seen you play more than you'd realise. You played at the height of where you've been, and you're at the height of Northern football right now. What brings you down here today, mate?
It was this or clean out the garage. I was just telling Smudge. So it was. I've opted for this, and so it's worked out really well having the artificial grass. I think every other game would have been called off today, but I said having all the games on here today, it's given locals a chance to come out and I said watch some really good football.
Yeah, so the garage of the football, good choice. Hey, thanks for joining us, mate, and it's a pleasure.
Ben Hay trying to flick on, and Hayden Bryce was there. He's gone down now. Ben Hay injured, and Edgeworth pushed forward through Dylan Holtz. The goal scorer now to Corley. But Brad Swancott is out. Corley goes to ground, and Peterkin points to the spot, and it's all gone pear-shaped for the Jaffers after half-time. It'll be another spot kick for the Eagles, as they had one last week. And Michael Sessions is furious. He was sent off. He's got to be careful, Michael Sessions. He gets a yellow card. He was sent off in the match in round 2 against Edgeworth.
Well, here it is.
Here's Swancott. He gets Adam Corley. And Glenn Peterkin thought there was enough contact. So it's Aiden Bryce. It's the revolving door of penalty takers for Edgeworth. So Aiden Bryce he hasn't scored in the FFA Cup this season. He's only scored once in the NPL this season. It was about 100 metres just over to his right at Macquarie Field in the last minute. Can he make it 2-0 for Edgeworth? It's almost the polar opposite to what happened last weekend. So Aiden Bryce moves in. He sends Brad Swancott the wrong way, and it's all going the Eagles' way. It's 2-0 after 56 minutes at the regional football facility, and it will be a mountain to climb now for the Jaffers.
Look, it sure will, and I just can't help but think one name, Joe Wheelhouse, and what a turning point that is for the Jaffers. And they just look. He's rolled his ankle, he's done some ligament damage, I think, but you know what? It's a real big blow for them, and maybe mentally you lose your general out of the middle of the park. Kandarovsky comes in, but you know, for me, Bart, that's a real big blow.
Chris Turner, the question is, was it a penalty?
Look, it depends. If Swancott got some hand on the ball, you'd have to be thinking no. However, hard to tell from this angle. He did certainly come in contact, but, you know, Smudge is saying the linesman had his flag up and he was flagging it, so you'd be tending to think that it was.
So Dane Greentree has now come on for Nathan Verity on the left flank for Edgeworth, for Lampton, I should say. There's Luke Remington down the side, and Evans with the boot in and wins. It's actually come off Remington, so an Eagles throw. So the opposite situation to last weekend. Edgeworth had their chances last weekend. Will Lampton get them as well this weekend? Well, Edgeworth may have a third. Adam Corley toe pokes it past Swancott, and it's 3 in 5 minutes for the Eagles. What a second half they are having.
Well, you wouldn't think so, would you? You'd come back out and you'd just 10 minutes before half-time, so level, and to be at this point 3 down. And again, I'm thinking Job Wheelhouse, Bart. Smudge is just off to our right. He's shaking his head in disbelief, and he cannot believe what he's seeing right now.
Here it is. Just got the toe poke under Swancott. It was sort of the worst spot for Swancott, wasn't it? It was just outside the box. He couldn't get a hand to it. Very, very astute finish from Adam Corley. That is 3 goals in his last 2 appearances for the Eagles. He scored 2 against Magic in round 12. And Ryan Griffiths is leaving the park. So it's another change from James Pascoe. He is ringing the changes, and they are all done now. Reece Tippett, the hero from last year, scored against Hamilton Olympic in the FFA Cup. They're going to try and get a little bit more magic from him.
I was just speaking to Reece Tippett before the game, and he said
Dane Greentree has taken off, and CT, I'll go back to you as Greentree comes back to halfway.
He said he really enjoys this surface, and he was hoping to get on around the 60th minute mark. He's got his wish, but he's got his work cut out, because at the moment, for them to get any further in this competition, they've got to score at least 3 for a penalty shootout, or victory is going to take them 4. So, look, big job ahead now, and most people would be thinking that's probably beyond. But you know what? We've seen stranger things in football, and on a surface that's playing so quickly, anything can happen.
Well, stranger things have happened, because we saw in Melbourne, South Melbourne fought back from being 4-1 down to go through 5-4 in the final 10 minutes. They were down 4-1 with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, and look, it can happen. I mean, what happens is we often speak about momentum and how mentally that plays with you.
So is this the Jaffers' chance? Ridge Mapu after it.
So, you know, the momentum is very important, and it's across all sports that you can see that happen. If Lampton were to pick one back now, they grow another leg and confidence would start to build. They're in the right area of the park. They need to get some shots on target and start really enforcing themselves as a product for the FFA Cup. Wouldn't they love someone like a John Majorowski in their side right now, Smudge? Lampton, he would be the sort of guy that, you want to play the ball into little 1-2s and get some shots on target.
Well, last weekend, Damien Zane told his side at half-time, you've got to be wary for Lampton straight after the break. And it fell on deaf ears because Lampton came out and scored 2 goals. This weekend, they've responded in the best way possible straight after the break, and they've put 3 on. And I know Joe Wheelhouse has left the park, and they finished the chances, the Eagles.
Now with Remington on the ball, I personally think he's been having a sensational season.
He's been a little quieter this afternoon, hasn't he, Luke Remington?
He has. He'll be looking to get something absolutely pinpoint.
Well, here we go. Is there a route back into the game for the Jaffers? Remington, up they rise. Josh Evans with the head. But this is the issue for Lampton now. They're up against a defence who's conceded just 8 goals in the NPL this season. In the 14 matches played. 12 matches played, I should say. 8 in 12. But Lampton have scored 4 of those 8 against Edgeworth. So 4 of the 8 goals Edgeworth have conceded in the NPL this year. Lampton have been the scorers of those. So that'll give them some confidence. And they've got to bring back 3. Pat Wheeler rolls it towards Taylor. Kantarovski's there. Got a bump from McBrain. He was able to ride the challenge. Griffiths with the back heel. Remington, and now Ben Hay for Dane Greentree. Steps inside a couple and curls it in. Ridge Marpu to go back to Kantarovski. Griffiths. And you mentioned, CT, who else would you love to have out there on the pitch other than John Majorowski? Well, Joel Griffiths is a pretty good player to have out there as well, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%. There's nothing taking away from the guys who are out there for sure. The point about him is that he's just a great target, and when the ball's playing so quickly, Majorowski can hold the ball up. His ability to see the play, 2 moves in front of most people, is a great talent, and he can bring players into the game. And just little balls often to get shots on target. That's why I was making that point.
Sessions in, Tippett, and Griffiths. And it just deflects off Griffiths to Ridge Marpu. Now I totally understand CT, as here's Marpu into the box. And again, Edgeworth too good. Bren Hamill now out there for the Eagles. Aaron McLaughlin off the pitch.
And that's that weaving run we've come to know of Marpu. Head down, burrows really through and quite dangerous in the box.
It's Griffiths. It's over the byline. And Edgeworth, they've won the big games in the past. They got through to the final of the NPL final series last year. They travelled to Bentley. They knocked over Bentley Greens. They travelled over to Perth. They knocked over Perth and then fell to Sydney and Sydney. But they are a battle-hardened side, and they've proven that this afternoon. But here's Joel Griffiths. Is this the route they wanted? It's off the... I think it's off the bonce of Nate Cavalier. Maybe the chest. And it's back in again.
Straight Falcon. Smudge is calling it face.
As
I don't think he knew much about it, to be honest.
Remington. But when it's going your way, it goes your way, doesn't it? As Ridge Marpu. Tries to find Kantarovski. Can he curl it back? Michael Kantarovski. And McBrain in there again. But look at this work from Daniel McBrain. Outstanding again. So if you've just joined us, Edgeworth 3-0. 3 goals in 5 minutes between the 53rd and the 58th minute of this match. Dylan Holtz started that off. Adam Corley finishing it. There's this one curled in and McBrain just nodded on. And it was Aiden Bryce in the middle with the penalty. between the two. So 3 different goal scorers for Edgeworth.
But Smudge will be joining us for the next match, Cardiff and Coffs Harbour. Been looking forward to this one. It's going to be good fun, and we'll get to hear some of Smudge's crap stories again. So that'll be an interesting place to be later today. So if you're hanging around, look forward to that. And Luke, if you're out there today, you look forward to sledging Smudge at any point through the afternoon. All Smudge's sledges are welcome.
Staying Green Tree. CT, you've just pushed us into the M rating slot with that word. We're in PG for it. We're in PG
Smudge?
for 60.
What word was that?
No, don't worry. Don't worry.
Okay, sorry, something must have slipped.
As Aidan Bryce over the sideline. Pasquale. That's Bar TV Sports, CT. It doesn't matter.
Won't come out with that crap anymore if that's what you're referring to.
That's Ridge Marpu. Now to Riley McNaughton. Chips it forward, and that is straight to Cavalier. Do you see Lampton breaking through this great wall of Edgeworth, CT?
Well, you mentioned before, but when things are going your way, spoke about momentum. You've got the likes of Griffiths, Joel Griffiths in the box on his own, one-on-one with the keeper. You expect him to win, and the fact that it gets him on the Cavalier on the head just sums up where they're up to at the moment.
There's Reece Tippett curling it in. There's Griffiths. Dom Bazzari. It just sat up perfectly, didn't it, for Bazzari? That could have gone to Remington at the back post with an open goal. And in the end, Dom Bazzari's there, Johnny on the spot, and the free kick goes the Eagles' way. So 23.5 to go now. And it's Edgeworth with the 3-0 advantage after Job Wheelhouse was injured right on the stroke of half-time.
Speaking of that injury, we've just had Chris Nedden come near us, and I can feel the temperature raise a little bit. So, you know, what a big blow. And, Sneddo's getting a bit closer. It's getting a bit warmer, so we might just tuck back into the tent, But seriously, they've really, it's unexpected that you see 3 goals coming into this, and luck just, momentum, we keep talking about it, but it just seems to be with Edgeworth at the moment. And this is what Zane prepares his year about. You know, it's these sorts of games. Wow, you know, last week they get beat 2-0, and now, you know, there's a 5-goal turnaround on that one. And you know, that's their mentality and their mindset for the FFA Cup.
Here's Ben Hay. Now he's got some skill. Here's Hay curling it with that left boot. Would have taken something special there. Almost did from Ben Hay, but just wide of the post. Dodging past defenders. Turning them inside and out. There's Cavalier. And really just to liven up this game again, CT. You really feel Lampton just need a goal. Just one goal. You said they'll grow an extra leg. But while it remains 3-0, Edgeworth have got them there, at least at arm's length is Marpu. Crosses the byline, so Lampton with the free kick in good position. So Joel Griffiths is going to stand over this one. And then CT, we're going to go to you for another special. Yes, they're rolling in.
Yeah, haven't we got them absolutely right? We just might wait till after this free kick start.
And here it is, Joel Griffiths. Curling it in. Green Tree's there with the header. Can Tippett get a touch? Cavalier, great save in front of his eyes there. And CT, over to you.
Yeah, we've got Smudge here with me. Smudge, I'll let you take over this one.
Yeah, so we've got Josh Rose here in attendance at Lake Macquarie, mate. What are you doing here?
I'm here to give Danny McBreen some banter after the match.
How do you think he's been going, mate? I've only just got here, actually, so I missed the first half, but how do you think he's been going?
Yeah, I only got here at half-time as well, so I think we picked a good time to turn up. Edgeworth will look pretty good since half-time, so, you know, he's going quite well. And bossing the young boys around and keeping them organised, Edgeworth are doing well.
And what's your plans for next year? What are you doing in the off-season? What's your plans for next year?
Yeah, so the off season, I'm just I keep ticking over, keep myself fit, and I've got a few options on the table at the moment. So I'm looking at them, and hopefully in the next week or two, I'll make the decision.
Well, mate, good luck and welcome to Lake Macquarie. Do you live around here or are you still on the Central Coast?
Yeah, still on the Central Coast. Catching up with Mick Breen after this, so yeah, sticking around for a bit.
All right, that's going to be messy then.
Possibly.
All right, mate, thanks for your time.
No worries. Cheers, bud.
Well, they keep flowing in, Bart. All the big names here down at the regional facility.
Of course, former Mariner and was at Melbourne City last season, Josh Rose, but he'll be trying to find a new club in the off-season. Maybe even the Jets could be an option, CT.
Well, you wouldn't know, Bart. Just feeling a little bit starstruck down here. Yeah, it's just...
CT, what have Lampton got to do here to get back into the match?
Smudges just said score 4 goals. Yeah, that'd do it. However, look, we're running right up into the game now. We've probably got about 21, 22 minutes left as the clock stands. They need to get a goal soon. If they get a goal soon, then momentum for them will go in their way. But I just, at this point in the game, the way things are panning out, I just can't see it. I know we had a good chance from Tippett just a few minutes ago, but, it's a big clawback. And, on a pitch where the ball's moving so quickly, opportunities aren't really... as free-flowing as normal. Sometimes, when during this time of the year, your legs and fatigue play a part. And so, what happens with that is that, your legs get heavier, you're also, taking a lot more sting out of you. The ground's so easy to run on that it's, it's a bit harder. So... So anyway, that's a pretty much a summary of that. So your legs aren't going to be as fatigued playing on this type of pitch. Sure, it's a little bit harder normally, but definitely easier on your legs. So in summary, what I'm trying to say here, Bart, is that it's going to be harder for them to get back into this game, and they need a goal pretty soon to have any chance.
You're not thinking there's any South Melbourne heroics here?
I can't see it, to be honest. I mean, to be honest, I did pick Lambton to win this game. Wheelhouse coming off. And that injury is a big blow to them. However, you don't rely on one player. They've got a full squad and they use it. But I just know how important he is to that group. What you would say, though, is Zane sets himself up. He makes no secret of that. He sets it all up for the FFA Cup. He sees victory in this more important than victory in the local weekly games. And they take that much pride and energy putting all of this together. And as we said, they've represented our region so well. They're going absolutely everything they can do to be successful today, and they've done that.
So Peter can just bring it back for the Lampton free kick. Yeah, CT. Edgeworth has done it again. They knocked over Magic last year in the FFA Cup, although it took a penalty shootout to get them through that one. This year it's been a little easier in this particular match, especially in the second half. So 73 gone. Riley McNaughton. Wide for Ridge Marpu. Was it Valentine last season was Ridge? That scored thus far for the Jaffers in the competition, in all competitions, the FFA Cup or the NPL. Ben Hay, Tippett. And Reece Tippett has scored in the FFA Cup this season. He scored against Charlestown in their 3-0 win, the Jaffers. Pasquale. Kieran Sanders with a turn. McNaughton after him. And really, there hasn't been too much push and shove since that opening 2 minute at Brouhaha CT within the opening 2 minutes.
Brouhaha. No, there hasn't. I was expecting a little bit more fireworks than what we've seen, but no, it has. Look, you know what? If you're going to be speaking to Lampton, I didn't see the tackle on Wheelhouse, but there are people from their camp saying that it was blatant. So but even still, they've played it in the right fashion.
Goes back to Cavalier.
Speaking of brouhaha, Smudge has been asking me for a joke. He's been pestering me, so I'll just rip it out now. What do you call a pony with a sore throat? But
Something to do with horse, I would say.
Yeah, a little horse. Yeah, but pony with a sore throat. It's a little horse. So there you go, Smudge. It's
Lammo
he's been pestering me for that for about the last hour, but
it's Dane Greentree on to Ben Hay.
Nathan Green's just barely holding himself together there, but so it's all good news.
You know it's
a little horse.
You know it's a poor joke, CT, when I actually get the answer to it. So it's very disappointing. Kantarowski goes back to Swancott.
I've stooped to the website that says dad jokes that are that bad they're actually funny.
We're now into the final 15 minutes. 15 to go, a quarter hour, and another collision. This is not looking good. Lampton have got no changes left, and Ben Hay is prone on the ground, as is Don Bazari. Just making sure they're both all right. Here it is. Is it a head clash? Brent Hamill, actually, I'm sorry. Brent Hamill from Edgeworth, the vice-captain.
The heads have come together.
And Dane Greentree. Sorry, I've had a shocker.
This is not good news for either player here. You don't like to see a head clash, and unfortunately that's what it appears to be.
Yeah, Dane Greentree and Brent Hamill. And CT, Lampton are going to have to play with 10 men, you'd expect, based on what we're saying here. This is where the argument comes in. Do you have the same thing that they have in the National Rugby League with the HIA? Should they bring that in to football? You know, someone gets knocked out and you lose a substitute because of it. Do you think that's fair? Well, I think they should bring in a free substitute for the HIA if someone has a head injury.
The purist is going to say no. However, in this circumstance, the other teams made a sub. It was a really difficult one. If they have an ankle injury and they've got to go off, would you think the same? But the fact that you've got heads come together may alter your thoughts on that a little bit.
So there they are, the Cardiff Tigers warming up for their big clash, starting at 2 p.m. this afternoon. We'll be calling that one. Smudge will be in the box.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that, absolutely, and we've got a little bit of dirt on each of the players as well, Bart. So looking forward to sharing some of that with the boys from the third tier. They'll be absolutely pumped. They will.
So this is the difference here. Edgeworth have a substitution. Brent Hamill actually came off the bench, so he leaves the field not long after coming on, and Kigo Moriyasu comes on for him. So McLaughlin came off, Hamill came on for him, and now Hamill is off and Moriyasu comes onto the park. The Edgeworth super sub. But he's only scored 4 of his 24 NPL goals away from Jack McLaughlin Oval. He did score away from Jack McLaughlin Oval in the last round of the FFA Cup at Darling Street. A nice header to finish off Olympic in the 4-2 victory.
But just looking through the pitch to the Coffs Harbour team, I saw the Coffs Ex-Services Club bus pull up, but there's some tall timber over there, Bart. It'll be interesting to see how they deploy that height they've got in the side. Looking forward to that game a little bit later.
Yeah, they've got a few guys from Sudan, from South Sudan, so they have got a side to be reckoned with, this Coffs United, as Kantarowski tries to keep the volley low. McNaughton wide for Kantarowski. Looks central for Ben Hay, but McBreen was too quick, defying his age, and Kantarowski and Moriyasu, I should say, searches down the middle, and then Dylan Holt slides his shot wide.
Moriyasu making his presence felt immediately off the bench.
3 goals in his last 3 matches against the Jaffers. Kigo Moriyasu.
This pitch will suit him. He'd enjoy the speed. He's lightweight and he's quick, and his technique is very very strong. So he'll enjoy his time out for the next 15 or so.
There's Don Bazari to Adam Corley. Back for Josh Evans. Pasquale in the centre circle. To McBrain. He's passing here from the Eagles. Here's Holtz again, goes low, sits up for Adam Corley, lays it off McBrain, deflection! Daniel McBrain scores. You couldn't keep him out of a big moment, Daniel McBrain, so he gets himself on the score sheet as well.
Oh, and doesn't he love the stage, Bart? As we have another look at this one, he has absolutely ripped this home.
Now, I had no view of this, CT, so did it take a deflection here?
No deflection.
Straight in the corner.
He's just picked it up, take a touch, and absolutely rip it home. Brad Swancott, we're talking about how good he's been, but he's just been absolutely poleaxed in the second half. And he's standing there with his hands on his hips thinking, what have you got to do? And there's nothing he can do about that. McBrain loves the big stage, and he's just ripped it home.
So Luke Remington off the kickoff, and you could say it's curtains now for the Jaffers.
Yeah, it sure can. Unfortunately for them, they probably see the turning point as the injury to Wheelhouse. However, take nothing away from Edgeworth that have come out in this second half and played tremendous football. They've had their foot on the ball longer. They've pushed the ball around well. They've held it for longer periods, and that's been a real key to their success. Couple that with, we spoke about big names on the park, and you bring Moriyasu on. What a great impact player he is, and especially on a pitch like this. So, look, they've done fantastically. They're 4, and they're looking for more.
Well, here is Moriyasu. Can he get on the score sheet? Reece Tippett is back, and he's asking his defenders where they've disappeared to, getting back to clean up the work for the Jaffers. They were beaten 5-0 by Edgeworth just about a year ago now in the NPL, and it's almost getting to that stage now. 4 goals. Dylan Holtz, Aidan Bryce, Adam Corley, Daniel McBrain with the strikes for Edgeworth. But it's still not over in the NPL. Lampton are up the top, so they'll go back to the NPL and look to make it count, as Sanders and McNaughton with a couple of bumps. Sanders taking on McNaughton. So Moriyasu with the free kick after the tackle from McNaughton. It's a tough angle, this one. It's a tough angle from the free kick specialist, and straight into the wall, into Luke Remington. Well, he might have a little bit of a headache in a few minutes. Dane Greentree has been collected in the head by Bren Hamill's bonds as well, and this one, Luke Remington, straight in the forehead.
Yep, got him right in the middle of the melon and rocked his head back, and he's seen stars.
So here's Josh Evans. Ben Hay quickly up for Lampton. Lampton with the free kick. Lampton, of course, with just the 10 men out there, so it's 11 against 10 after Dane Greentree with the head injury has left the park, and Lampton had no changes left, so the changes were rung by coach James Pascoe after Edgeworth put in their third in about the 58th minute. Don Bazzari goes up the line for Sanders. Chips it over the top. Streaming through, was it Dylan Holtz, but Brad Swancott was there.
But just getting messages about man of the match and also Harry Schnitzel player of the day. We don't have that today, being FFA Cup round, so we haven't been talking about that. However,
but we will give a man of the match. We will give a man of the match.
We have, we've had some great footballers out on the pitch today, and we can start to have a view on those.
Who would you go with, CT, for man of the match?
Well, player of the day we'll go with first. We might run with you, but Smudge and I just noticed you've got some new trousers and the beige colour that both he and I have, and also your new brown shoes. That's nice that we're a matching team now. Little family. Player of the day to you, Bart.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Well, you haven't got your beige pants on today, so
No, I've mixed it up a little bit. To talk about these things, Bart, before you just go and get dressed up and buy new clothes. All right, let's talk about the man of the match. You know, there's immediately I'm going to look across the Edgeworth side here. There's been the dominant performers, particularly in the second half.
Dylan Holtz has been a workhorse. Josh Evans at the back. He always comes up for these type of awards when Edgeworth have kept a clean sheet. He's been rock solid.
Yeah, and, you know, like we always mention McBreen, you can't not mention him with the performance that he's had today because he's been outstanding, but you just kind of expect that from him.
Well, CT, I'm just thinking back the moments in this match, but I know the Joe Wheelhouse injury was probably, you could say, the turning point, but the penalty also, that was crucial. That put Edgeworth up by 2. And then that third goal in quick succession. Can they scramble over a fourth goal? Yeah, fifth, I should say, is McNaughton.
Definitely on the penalty. That's a genuine turning point right there, because that you go 2 in front and all of a sudden it gets very, very difficult and changes the way you play. You become a lot more attacking in your nature.
This is Moriyasu. Goes wide for Sanders. Cuts inside. Well, it would be a killer blow if they made it 5. And Sanders back for Bazari. Takes them on. Back for McBreen. This one straight into Reece Tippett, putting his body on the line again. The Jaffas substitute. 2008 Player of the Year at Western. Still going around. Played a bit in the UK as well. Reece Tippett, Edgeworth with the throw. But CT, we speak about the injury to Wheelhouse. Is it unfair to suggest that, Edgeworth, in the second half, it's a real tough one. If Wheelhouse stays out there, it's a totally different game, isn't it?
Look, it is a different game, but as I mentioned before, you don't rely on one player, and you can't take away the dominance that Edgeworth have pulled out through the second half. They've been fantastic. They've held the ball better and longer. And as we see at the moment, they're getting in good attacking positions.
Here's Taylor squaring it up. And that's the thing. I think it's unfair to suggest that Edgeworth haven't been great in the second half. They've been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And the injury to Wheelhouse, you never know. You never know. It could still be 4-0 had Wheelhouse stayed out there. It's a real tough one.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we spoke about this earlier, how the difference between last week on a heavier pitch versus this one on a slick, fast pitch. And Smudge just mentioned they love it out here, which they do. Edgeworth, it's clear that we spoke about the good close ball control players that have, polished skills, if you want to call it that, enjoy this sort of game. And Peter Haynes mentioned that as well. And you just see, we talk about men of the match. One of the things for Josh Evans is how he's been a rock at times when they've been under pressure, and that holds you together.
Kantarowski goes long.
If one of the early opportunities goes in against Edgeworth, then it just swings it the other way completely, and all of a sudden, Lampton are in the box seat and Edgeworth are having. But their dominance has been great. I think it's come mostly from their back, and out of that back line, the man on the ball at the moment is the one doing the job today for me is the man of the match. What are your thoughts, Bart?
Yeah, I think Josh Evans has been outstanding. I also think Damien Zane, his side were beaten 2-0. His side were beaten 2-0 by Lampton last weekend. They were beaten 2-1 by Lampton in round 2. So for him to turn this around, work out a way to get through this Jaffas side is outstanding. And the ability straight after halftime. He said last week he spoke to his side and he told them, you've got to be careful after the break. This is where the Jaffas are very strong. Last weekend they fell apart in that period. This week they dominated it, and that was the difference in the end.
Yeah, totally agree, Bart. It's well said. We're ticking the clock right down now, and we've only got 2 minutes or a minute and a bit with regular time, and we've had a fair bit of injury, so it'll be interesting how much Peterkin gives on this one. And it's no coincidence that Edgeworth step up again in the cup, is it, CT? No, it's certainly not.
As Moriyasu gets cut down by Kantarowski, and he goes into the book for a yellow card. He's probably lucky. Look at Kantarowski. He came sliding in on Moriyasu. We'll have a look back at this one. CT, your thoughts?
Well, Kandarovski straight underneath him and rolled him. However, the agility of Moriyasu is like that doesn't bother him, to be honest, other than the fact that he was in a great position and he's just ready to go again.
Question, CT, if Moriyasu stays down then, and is there a temptation from the referee to pull out a red card?
Oh, look, I don't think so. I think if he's Peterkin's a very experienced referee. Whether he goes down, stays up, whatever the case is, he's looking at the incident that's happened. He'll make his judgment on that. I don't think it's a case of him staying down. Moriyasu did the right thing. He just wanted to get back up. He was in a good position on the park, thinking he'd make a difference there, and he just wanted to get on with it. So, no, I think all good from Peterkin.
There's Bazari. Now to Sanders. And Kantarovski diving in again. And Corley surges through the middle. Looking for a fifth Edgeworth. Sanders with the chip. And it's off the bar. And in from Kieran Sanders. What a special strike from the English import. And it's 5-0 now to Edgeworth in stoppage time.
Sorry, Bart. A bit excited. That's as cheeky as you like. Sorry to cut you off there.
Have a look at Brad Swancott here. Watch him. It's just took an age, didn't it?
Oh, wow.
That is cheeky with a capital C, CT.
It is, and you know what? The ability to be able to do that. You play on grass every week. You come out in here, your touch has just got to be absolutely perfect, spot on. And his ability just to pick Swancott off like that, that takes him up to 5. And we were talking to Swancott's dad earlier, and we've put the mocker on him because that one's just left him stranded.
Well, it's the same score as it was in the NPL last season. And it's not a great afternoon if you're a Jaffers fan. 5 goals conceded in the second half as Kieran Sanders takes off down the left edge. 5 different goal scorers now for Edgeworth this afternoon. Dylan Holtz, Aidan Bryce, Adam Corley, Daniel McBreen and Kieran Sanders. And they'll just want to get off the park, won't they, the Jaffers now?
Yeah, absolutely. In this extra time, probably be a little bit painful for them, to be honest.
And that's the speed of the pitch really allows you to put aside to the sword late. We saw Magic do it to Valentine. Just get the ball up the ground so quickly. And Magic scored about 3 in the last 10 in their 4-0 win over Valentine. So it's Edgeworth and Broadmeadow Magic through to round 7.
Just want to go back to that goal from Sanders. There'd be a lot of guys that would take a touch and look to drill something home there. But you're at your top of your game in confidence and form to be able to glance through the keeper off his line and have the ability to just put that touch on that ball, flip the post and just leave your keeper stranded. For me, that was as good a finish as you're going to see.
It's Nate Cavalier having a clean sheet for the 8th time this season in all competitions. As Michael Sessions rolls this one wide for Riley McNaughton. He curls it in towards Joel Griffiths.
Wonderful ball into the back stick there, and they're the sorts of balls that Lampton would have been hoping for about 45 minutes ago.
And Edgeworth have just been outstanding. Joe Wheelhouse injury aside, they have been outstanding in the second 45 minutes. And it was the 3 goals in 5 minutes. Only seconds left. You sense now. Coming straight up after this one, we'll wrap up this match, and then it will be Cardiff Tigers up against Coff City as Nate Cavalier strong in the air. CT, we're happy with Josh Evans as man of the match, and Glenn Peterkin puts the whistle to his mouth and says that Edgeworth are through. And it's 3rd time lucky for the Eagles this year, and they've discovered the formula finally to take down Lampton. It was tight in the first half, but in the second 45, Edgeworth put 5 past Lampton and 5 different goal scorers at that. It was Dylan Holtz that started it off, Aidan Bryce with the penalty, Adam Corley, Daniel McBreen, and then Kieran Sanders with the cheekiest of chips. And Edgeworth march on to round 7 of the Westfield FFA Cup for the 3rd year running. And it would be difficult to see them not making the round of 32 after that result. Lampton, well, they'll be gutted. So close with a side that could have shone on the national stage, but it's the magic of the Cup that they were drawn against the Eagles. 3 matches against NPL opposition in the Cup for Lambton proved to be a bridge too far. Full time here at the Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. It's Lampton Jaffers 0, Edgeworth Eagles 5, and we are going to duck onto the pitch with Chris Turner for some reaction with the man of the match, Josh Evans. Simply a rock at the back for Edgeworth. And at 2 o'clock, Cardiff and Coffs do battle. So in just over 10 minutes' time, Chris Turner, he's actually got Michael Sessions from the Jaffers. We'll go over to him now.
Thanks, Bart. Just here with Michael Sessions. We're just talking about the man of the match, Josh Evans. Couldn't just get a hold of him in a hurry, so here with Michael Sessions. Sesho, unlucky about today, I guess. A couple of things, just quickly. The difference between last week and this week.
We just didn't really turn up this week, to be honest. We just a little bit behind the 8 ball from the start. Just as you saw, we got a few injuries, which didn't help our cause. Job going down before the end of the first half didn't help our cause either. But we had a lot of good subs that come on. We just weren't here today. It was just Edgeworth's day, so good on them. Good luck to them. They did great things last year, so they want to keep going again today.
Yeah, and just quickly, when Wheelhouse goes off, what does that do to the team?
He's definitely a massive loss for us. The same with Ryan going off towards the end as well. They're 2 great players you can't replace. But in saying that, we've got great youth coming through the club. Pasco's done a great job with his recruitment. So it wasn't a big loss. It was just Edgeworth were just a bit sharper to the ball. Every second ball they won. So
I guess back to the regular season now, and you guys are doing great. So congratulations where you are. Work to do. So good luck for the rest of the season, mate.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, Bart.